as you can tell, we're missing a few people. Chris and Aaron are not going to be able to join us, so the professor is off studying how the way affects people's body. And so I'm going to basically allow for some extra downtimes for Chris, since his character is not involved in this heist mission job. And then Erin is not feeling very well, so I'll talk with her about some outside of game like downtime activities that her character could be doing. But to kind of cut more to the action a little bit, you all got some heat in Ren in the last couple of jobs that you've taken. So you've decided to lay low for a little while in the Iota system, and your ship has transitioned through the Waygate with its strange Xeno faces that are attached to that Waygate. But on your way out, you were letting some friends and contacts know that you were moving over to Iota, and have decided that one looks like a pretty good job. That you're going to meet up with Triv, who is a ship's mechanic that Ordwell knows, and he's going to tell you all about. There's a kind of an interesting idea of that you guys were going to be smuggling an illegally modified racing ship to the starting line of a race that's going to be held fairly soon, and you need to get it past the guild inspectors so that the racer can actually race it. So is there anything you guys want to do as you're transitioning out? You're seeing all of the shipping traffic and other stuff like that. You see guild authorities that are scanning ships and things like that, that as they're about to exit the gate, or as they're exiting the gate, and as they're about to go through the gate back to Rin. So it's basically kind of like a border crossing checkpoint sort of thing. And right now, you don't have anything that you need to necessarily worry about with them on your ship. But what's your plan so far? Just give you guys an opportunity to talk through some stuff, and then we'll talk about an approach sort of thing.
So specifically the plan for the smuggling the racer?
Any plan. Well, I want to give you guys some opportunity to role play. So not just roll dice.
Yeah. So what do we know about are we going to be flying the racer back, or is it something that we're going to try to smuggle aboard our ship, or are we stealing it technically?
Good question. You know that it is too big to fit on your ship. It is not like a shuttle size. It's view this as kind of like an America's Cup or some other sailing yacht race sort of thing. So okay. like a racing monohull or catamaran. So it is big, but it will be a stripped down version of a ship. So like there won't be nice amenities on board. But
it's not heavy.
It will probably have a pilot and probably a small crew. But yeah, it won't be heavy.
By the way, guys, my head's still a little, fuzzy.
Yeah, but I was going to say that talking about role-playing opportunities.
Isn't your head always a little fuzzy?
Yeah. But usually, after a little while, it kind of goes away.
You're not bleeding out your ear there, are you?
Too bad the professor's not here.
just push it back in. Maybe it'll come out.
You should keep all of your fluids inside, if possible.
That's a very good idea.
By the way, the professor did lock up all of the important things in the infirmary and gave
Probably a good idea.
And gave the codes to Jagger. Just
a good idea.
For a just in case. Here's the codes.
Okay. So Jagger's got him rattling around. Jagger, the Burbot who occasionally suffers catastrophic and total memory loss, has the codes.
Yeah.
Back to all right.
So as a quick callback to last week, Twitch has a brain slug in his brain from the drugs that he did last week, but we don't know that.
Right.
Yeah. I guess my question
it's like a way being. It's like a way parasite sort of thing. Yeah. Like it's something that interacts with the way. And yeah, his dealer, you were all trying to I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. You were getting some info or something.
I was getting blueprint plans.
Yes, and was like, you know what? Hey, try this stuff out for me, and came back with a brain slug.
This is why Devil's Bargains are best.
Yeah.
So who is our contact for this job?
Triv, a ship mechanic that is a friend of Ordwell's.
All right.
So
Man,
we've already spoke to him, or we're going to speak to him.
You are going to get the rest of the details from him. You can ask all the rest of the details from him. But you have recently translated over to Iota and have just finished clearing the quote unquote customs, and inspections, and you're free to move about the system. So yeah, there is a message that pops up now that you've had a little bit of time to transit. There is a message from Triv saying, giving him his contact information over here in Iota, working with the racing team.
Ordwell has been so inspired by his memories of racing, and just he's raced everything he can possibly get his hands on, and building tricycles as a wee kid, and then throwing rockets on the back of them so you can make them go faster and what have you. So he's just dreaming of a life that was, because he was drummed out of the racing circles. But that doesn't he's while we've been transiting through, right? He's basically steering with his feet or knees or something, and alternating between watching glory videos from the good old days of fantastic races and crashes that he was in, and playing a simulator. I
have to ask though, those tricycles that you attach rockets to, did you do I think it's called the Panjandarum? I'm butchering the name, but the top secret English war wheel that had giant wheel that was basically a bomb with the rockets around the edge.
We have to assume that was at least one of the prototypes.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. I mean, it did go. It just didn't go in a straight line.
Yeah, I'm not, an engineer or anything.
Well, hang on.
You're a pilot. You're not an engineer. Engineers do all the rest of that work.
So wait a second. How many mechanic friends do you have?
Oh, just the one.
Never enough.
I mean, enough. You know more, but he's just a good friend.
This is Triv and I go way back.
Just the one.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, I take that back. Obviously, I know you, but this is a childhood friend, right? I used to go scrounging for him. He would hook me up with aftermarket stuff. He'd help me break into the no user serviceable parts black boxes.
Was he on your racing team when you raced?
I think that would make sense. right? We've maintained, been in touch over the years, right? Like, he's a good buddy. Like, we just haven't had enough experiences, Twitch. We're getting there. But Triv, we go way back.
Who's the better mechanic?
Are you jealous of the other mechanic?
Sample size is small. You obviously, because you're keeping our starship flying. He just, kept all my other vehicles going, and top notch. Didn't have a drug problem. But those are some of like where you shine is where he was really mundane, right? Like
he totally didn't have a drug problem.
Insight and life experience to come up with solutions to problems, and you have different techniques. It's not better or worse.
All right, fine. It's good enough for now.
I also know another mechanic who is not a drug addict.
He's not an addict. He's like a recreational indulgence.
I'm sorry. I chose my words poorly. I also know another mechanic who is not a drug enthusiast.
I'm
not an addict. I can stop anytime I want.
Like Twitch, you and I, we hang out, right? Like, like fun things. I know fun things. Like Trev and I never did that kind of stuff. He was always about the job. You and I, we're about the downtime.
I put some rockets on your chair for your racing chairs.
I mean, we can bring it back. Oh yeah, right, for our racing chairs, right? Like, so yeah. I totally didn't steal that idea from Triv. We should go see Triv. I just got a message from him.
I would like to see this other mechanic.
So would I. I want to meet this guy.
I do actually have a pip in Sway, so I guess I was just thinking like exactly how charismatic is Ordwell, right? Like, does he just keep digging a hole? But I think he is really he was really trying to massage your ego.
Yeah, you have. I mean, it's definitely not zero. I would say if I were to characterize it, enough that when you are digging that hole, that sometimes it's just best to stop.
If you like, I will enumerate the ways in which Triv is superior to you, Twitch.
No, I'm sure I'll find out.
Jagger has no pips in Sway.
I've got 2 pips and a tune. I know what you're saying.
But then you have that brain slug in your
exactly.
when you're rolling around your head. So maybe you don't. Maybe you care. Maybe you don't. Who knows?
That's why tools haven't been thrown yet.
All right. Yeah. So the message says that gives you coordinates to the station, the Waygate station. He says he's got a small shop there that he'll meet you at, so that you'll be able to, that he can meet you in person, and you guys can talk, so that you can get all the details.
Cool.
I'm bored with it. Let's go see this guy.
All right. Yeah. So you head over to the station. It's way out here at the edge of the system, as is the gate. But maneuvering thrusters, rockets keep it in position relative to the gate, since the gate will sometimes move to keep itself positioned with the way lanes that are between Iota and Rin. No one really knows how those way gates work. They were built by the precursors, but they've been studied a lot. That's why the one in Holt that is still shut, they're trying to figure out how to open it, because they think that there's a lot that could be discovered and commerce added out there. But this station here services anyone coming and going through the ring, and they will be able to trade, etc. A lot of trade and stuff happens here right at the edge. So it's a fairly big station. even though it's really far away from Iota's twin suns. So, and just for those following along at home, Iota is the planets in Iota orbit a pair of stars. There's a yellow sun, Iota 1, and a brown dwarf, Iota 2. There are 2 asteroid belts here, one of which still has a large portion of a shattered planet floating in the middle of it. And both belts were clearly planets once upon a time. Nobody's sure what sort of calamity broke them apart. Normally well, I don't know about normally, but when systems are formed, usually that's when a lot of, in my understanding, when asteroid belts are formed. Normally planets don't fully form and then break up later. So something may have happened to these planets that have shattered them to pieces. And as is their wont, the guilds actually set up shipyards in these in these 2 asteroid belts, and are stripping and mining the belts for whatever metals they can get. There is one other thing. There are several other notable places. There's way lines through here. That most systems have a way line. This is a bit more strong than most other systems. There is a comet that you guys have heard about a little bit, ZX 1138. And there's a lot of movie references in Scum and Villainy, by the way, just so you know. There's the shipyards I just told you about, and there is the Belt of Fire, which is a region of superheated plasma between the 2 binary stars. The guild the hegemony has issued a quarantine order because ships have disappeared while traveling through that Belt of Fire. You would think, well, it would be dangerous, but it's still something that ships could traverse. But more ships than is common have disappeared, and so the hegemony have quarantined it, and ships are not allowed to travel through there. So
makes you want to do it.
Yeah, it makes you want to do it.
Fire up those shields, boys.
Yeah, you might want to investigate why other people think about it, but So there's several planets in the system. Amaranth, there's Indri, and Lithios. Let's see. There's a bunch here. Yes. Amaranth, Indri, and Lithios are the 3 big planets here. But who knows? I don't know. It depends on what you guys do, whether or not you're going to visit any of those. Right now, you're sliding into a docking berth at the station near the waygate, and you step out into the station, and there's that kind of smell that always permeates stations like this that are out in the black by the waygates and such, of recycled air and organic bodies and machine oils.
Feel that, gentlemen? It's so much cooler here. I can't help but feel like we shed some heat. They'll never look for us here.
It smells like fixing stuff.
Well, you would know that, wouldn't you?
It smells like a fart. Fart jokes are funny. I have made a fart joke.
Where are the others? So Triv, right over this way, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Pull up the data pad, which is probably is this one of the places where he would traditionally have worked out of, so I would be familiar with his shop, or is he this is a one-off, because of the job?
I mean, he's worked at a couple of different places. This looks like a shop, like a mechanic shop, or a location for a mechanic shop that people can rent out. So it turns over. This would be some place that you would expect Triv to have rented when he's in this area for however long he decides to be here.
Cool.
You get there. It's not, you notice that it's not branded as like a racing mechanic shop. But he's in there working with, it does front onto a couple of berths, and it's got some heavy machinery that's available nearby. And you see him just with, like welding faceplate and grinding away at some sort of ship part as you're walking in. He kind of looks up, cuts the grinder off, pulls the thing off, pulls the helmet off, and you see who you remember as Triv. Kind of wild shock of hair, really long beard tucked down into the front of his coverall so he doesn't light it on fire again. And his really thick, beefy arms from moving stuff around. He's probably about 5'4", 5'4". So he's a short, kind of squat guy, but definitely muscular from working on ships. And he likes doing a lot of the moving around of stuff on his own rather than using machines or droids to do the work for him. And he's like, "Hey, Ordwell, how you doing? It's good to see you, man."
Doing great. Here with my friends, taking a little break. Here you have some work for us. This is Twitch.
Hey, Twitch, how you doing?
This is our droid.
I am Jagger. Will there be arm wrestling?
Hey, Jagger.
You look.
Oh, with me? No. Oh, no. No, I don't wrestle droids.
Strong. No, not with me. You look much stronger than Twitch. I am interested which of you is more physically superior.
I like you.
Twitch like walks up to this guy, looks up because Twitch is only 5 foot. Oh.
Mechanics come short in this part.
He walks away.
Yeah.
Did you notice that he is taller than you?
Look, it's okay. It's I like short mechanics. They can get into places. It's a sign of your competence, Twitch. Really, and my confidence in you.
He just waves him off.
So
Hey.
Twitch,
He's gonna go skulk in a corner somewhere.
Yeah, come on in. Let me close some stuff up so we can talk.
my buddy here is a mechanic too.
Yeah,
And,
I caught that.
This construct who is totally not named Jaeger. He's really strong.
That is correct. Jaeger is not my name.
He goes up and pulls the roll down door down and turns off some exterior lights to show that his shop's closed, and comes back. Yeah, man. Thanks for coming in at such short notice. Yeah, it's kind of a weird. I mean, I know what kind of business you've gotten into lately, and I thought you could maybe help us out. So, yeah, we got that racing ship. Client is Chandra Drusik. He's a racer, obviously, fairly well known, but yeah, he needs a little extra mods to keep him competitive, shall we say. So we wanted to make sure that we could get him the ship without any guild entanglements.
Okay. I'm pretty sure we could figure that out. So where's it need to go?
Yeah, so it's at a shipyard not too far from here, and but it's got to go and be at the Brutality Spire Grand Prix start in 2 weeks. But the normal lanes are all guild patrolled, and so if you take it through there, they're going to scan the ship, they're going to notice how it's outfitted, And well, we can't have that. So you're gonna have to fly it around, not normally, you're gonna have to fly it the slow ways. I know you can get into the way lanes without charts sometimes. But the problem is that right now, between now and when the Brutality Spire starts, Brutality Spire is going to be starting on Amaranth, which right now, and for the next 2 weeks or so, just happens to be on the other side of the system from the gate here and from the shipyard.
Well, if I know my pilot, better than most people know their pilots and everything, because I've known this guy for so long. If there's anybody that can fly this thing and get it there on time, it's my best friend over here.
Oh, I know.
Thanks.
He and I go way back. Way back.
That's right, Twitch. That's right. Oh my God, why am I forgetting his name?
Triv.
Triv.
That's right. Forget his name.
It's like, I remember that time, talking about when we first started modding racers. Yeah, you need that little bit of extra, like the thrill, the challenge. Those were the days. Those were the days.
So, threading through that debris in that nebula during that race. Oh man, I thought you were going to eat
the whole
it.
thing. Yeah. Well, you got to use it. You roll right through the flames and the hot spots, and like you just confuse the ship's weld so you can make sure that that none of the radiation gets in. That was really the secret there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like Jusik, this is exactly what he needs to get that ship delivered. So, it's gonna need, it's a racing ship, so it's got, I know you got 3 of you, which will be perfect to crew this thing. It's not. It can't just be piloted solo. It's not like a one pilot racer. This is a slightly bigger. It's a Grand Prix, so they're going to swap people out, etc. But going to have someone monitor the engines, etc. while you're flying. So this is a good sized crew.
We'll need to fly the ship. We can't we're not towing it behind our regular ship.
Well, you could, but, given how you're going to have to get there, I don't know if you'd get there in time if you had to tow this thing.
Gotcha. And so the crew of the eventual crew of the ship's going to meet us on Amaranth?
Yeah, we'll all meet you at Amaranth. I can't go with you because I've got to be with them, and, they do physical checks of all the crew to make sure we're not modded in weird ways. To cheat, but if you are able to get the ship to the Grand Prix docking yard, it's assumed that actually it's not assumed. We've doctored the paperwork already showing that it's been scanned, but if you go through a checkpoint, it will be scanned again, and that will invalidate our documentation that we put in already.
Okay. So I gotta ask.
Yeah.
This is one of my first times in system. What's up with the belt of fire? Feels like a shortcut.
You're not gonna go through there, are you?
No.
Oh crap! You're totally planning on going through there. Okay. Well, so the hegemonies, they've as you know, they've quarantined it, but they've lost about 20, 30 ships there over the last year before they decided to quarantine it. There's a bunch of spacers talk about an old dragon, like some sort of vast space creature that lives there. Nobody's ever seen it and lived, of course, but that's supposedly what's been eating the ships. Hegemony doesn't believe it as a creature there, but there's a lot of ships have gone missing in that area, and so they shut it down. But It is a shortcut, and a shortcut's a shortcut.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we wouldn't do that. You know, I mean, it sounds really, really dangerous. And
If we wanted to, he totally could do it.
Yeah, I mean, you could.
Thanks for your confidence.
I mean, if you want to, there's a couple other ways that you might be able to get there. You know, you could definitely, shoot into a way lane and, one of the uncharted ones, maybe hop between a few of them, and eventually pop out close to Amaranth. You know, that might help. There's a ZX 1138. There's a comet. It's a little weird. It changed course recently. We don't know why. There's rumors about that saying there's some way people, there's some guild people and other stuff saying that it's affected the way lines or it was affected by the way lines, but it's in a weird orbit that you could maybe get into its tail and just kind of follow it for a while. But I know you, Ordwell. I don't know about the rest of your crew, but that's just sitting there in a comet's tail waiting. So, I mean, it's been a few years since we've been together, so maybe you got patient, but it's going to require some patience. Wow, this voice.
It's fire
doing a number.
Ice, huh?
It's impressive. Smoke a cigar before the.
Yeah, well, you know that he's he talks like this because it's working on starships and breathing in fuel dust and coolant gases. So,
of course.
Yeah. He likes to do things himself without mechanical assistance, like a respirator.
I don't know. A slingshot around that comet could be interesting. Tortured and twisted ley lines. Like,
I mean, yeah.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
I mean, if you know the way lines better, you know how to find them better than I do. That's why you're a pilot and I'm a mechanic. But, I mean, maybe there's a way you could slip in there and ride it real patient and boring like for a while and then slip into a way line and maybe slingshot in and zip in at super fast speed into Amaranth or something. You
had me at super fast speed.
There may be some competition as well. Well, I mean, it's a race. There's always competition, right? And, Jusik, he and his crew, well, they like to run their mouths a little bit, and they know that some of their competition know that they're bringing the ship in fairly soon. So some of their competition might want to have their ship just not show up. So
that's downright unsportsmanlike.
Keep an eye out for that. But I will tell you this, she is fast. And pretty maneuverable, too. It's a Grand Prix, so it's a long haul sort of thing, but she's a good ship.
Does it have any weapons?
Officially? No.
But unofficially?
Unofficially? No. Unofficially? Maybe.
Twitch is just gonna look over at Jagger. I don't like this guy.
I couldn't tell.
Don't worry, I know where the switch is.
I don't want to give away all the secrets.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Is there likely to be a person already on the ship? The last time we were asked to pick something up, there was a person in it.
Well, I mean, there's the crew and the dock workers who are taking care of it and finishing it up at the shipyard right now. But when you leave, no, there shouldn't be anybody else on there.
Good. Surprise people complicate things.
Yeah. I mean, there are places to hide things, but you'd have to be pretty small to hide in those spaces.
Which stay out of the spaces. All right, well, I think I know what I need to do. I think we know what we need to do. We got an ace mechanic here. I mean,
The best
ace
mechanic.
Yeah, just the best. Totally the best mechanic I'm shipping out on this mission is right here.
All right, so
Twitch will puff himself up a little bit.
let's go out
Get
for
him
some
to
food and some
5-1.
drinks, and we'll talk over some of the more public kind of details that you need. And then you guys can go make your plans and get going.
All right.
And so now I will take us to how do you guys want to do this?
Well, as we're walking out, Twitch is gonna look at Jagger and just be like, "What's he got that I don't have?"
4 inches.
We have to work on your rude circuit.
My root circuit.
What's your robot's name that you have that sits on your shoulder?
Climber.
Climber.
Yeah.
Climber turns its head towards you, says, "Biceps."
Ouch.
You too.
That's just rude.
You asked.
At 2, Climber.
So Twitch, in addition to being the mechanic, you can sense the way, right?
Yeah, I could hear technology.
Okay.
It. Which tripping mostly
You're hearing it a
constantly
lot more
probably-
lately. Not always. It's hard. You hear it a lot more, but it isn't always clear what it's saying, but you hear it.
Yeah, it's whispers.
But occasionally it's like, Ordwell doesn't respect you. Flush him out the area. It's not full on Gollum status yet. There we go.
Yep.
So I feel like so infiltration is trespass unseen, and then the detail is the point of infiltration. So that seems to me like we would choose okay, we're sneaking in via the comet, we're sneaking in via a way line, like a hidden way line. We're going through the the belt of
Let's
fire,
just-
right?
Yeah, it sounds like infiltration pretty much.
Yeah.
straight through.
Like I would say you could do infiltration. This would also be a transport sort of thing.
Yeah,
like
so then that
infiltration,
becomes-
I would almost say you could say would be like, we're gonna go kind of the normal route, but we're gonna sneak around the checkpoints, sort of thing.
Yeah, because I think the point of infiltration is meant to be more like you're infiltrating a physical place. Well, I guess to your point, like the infiltration, the point of infiltration is like, well, we're flying real close between the 2 moons of the planet and what have you, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're sneaking past the sentry stations. Whereas like transport seems like it's straightforward. We're choosing the route and the means, in which case we're saying, okay, well, we're going to use the way lines. And
I would say
transporting
if you're going to use the way lines, that'd be Mystic.
Mystic, okay.
If you're gonna take the safe, boring route, maybe that's
Transport.
that's transport with the comet. Now that doesn't prevent you from using way lines. It's just how you're approaching it initially.
Right.
Like I would almost say if you're planning on just zipping straight through the middle of the system and going through the the fire, if you're gonna go the belt of fire, like that would almost be an assault sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like hitting the pedal to the metal sort of thing. Or deception and social might be, hey, you're gonna reach out to your contacts and you're smuggling the whole ship through, but you're getting the paperwork so that they don't scan it or something like that.
Right.
Is another way you could work that one.
So Twitch, is your way sense sufficiently advanced that we could rely on it to do way as our method, or mystic as our method?
I mean, I've got 2 pips and a tune, so I have as much of that as I have rig and study. So
That's as much as I have in Helm. So, I mean,
Do it.
I'm kind of inclined to go like as a meta thing. I think the way is more interesting in so much as you've got a space parasite in your brain.
I have a way parasite in my brain too, so this could get interesting.
I think it could be way interesting. So from a story perspective and a complications perspective, that seems more interesting to me than just straight up like transport or assault. I don't know. What do you think, Chris?
I'm all for it.
It is your guy, though. I don't know if your guy's going to be like, oh yeah, let's take the safe way. Or if he'll be like, let's chase the dragon!
I could punch him hard.
So, well, it's up to you guys.
There will be another mission where we can punch the dragon. So it sounds like we're going with Mystic.
Okay.
So we'll use Twitch's arcane power to, guide us through the way lines.
And are you gonna use the comet as a way to kind of get you in position for the way lines or help you find the way lines?
Love to use the comet.
Okay.
Because we're basically going to have to get around the main checkpoint in, right? We're basically going to have to jump our way onto this lane.
Yeah, we might fly real casual until we get to the comet, and then the comet is where basically the way.
Yeah. So Twitch, from what you've heard of the comet, it is either affecting or being affected by the way lines. So since you haven't really been to Iota recently, if you've been here before at all, that would be a good place to be able to find an entrance to a way line, is getting near the comet at the very least. Okay. And being able to find a way line there. And that might, you might be able to find a way line entrance that would take you in the direction that you want to go.
All right.
It is still a risky or perhaps desperate action, shall we say.
So basically, I was trying to get at, can we jump in anywhere along this way line, or do we have to go through one of the rings to actually get in?
Okay, yeah, so let's step back here. So there are way lines that are known that ships with the proper drives, which you guys have on the start answer, are able to enter a way line at any point along its path and then drop out. But there are specific points that are better charted. And so that is useful for very quick in-system transmit if your ship is equipped with it. If your ship is not equipped with it, you go the normal, boring, nearly the speed of light way. Okay. Whereas if you are traveling between systems, there are things kind of like way lines, but that go between 2 systems. And those are connected directly with way gates. And the way gates are built by the precursors that open up these kind of really fast, big way lines between 2 entire systems.
Wow, okay.
And so the travel there, so if you let's pull it to like Cowboy Bebop, if you're, you can travel around a system pretty quickly, with using just the natural way lines. But if you want to travel really great distances, you have to go through a gate.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay. That's where I was confused. Okay, cool. So we can pretty much jump right onto one of them if we need to. Mm-hmm. That's just... Okay, cool. All right. So, comet it is then. Comet to Wayline.
All right.
So my question, mechanically, since we're not flying our own ship on this particular mission, do we still get our gambits?
Yes, I will still give you the gambits. You're only going to have 2 because your scoundrel's not here.
Yep.
To start with. So So you're gonna pick up the ship at the shipyard, fly it. And your detail, your approach is you're gonna fly it to the T8. I want to say THX 1138, but that's not it. It's ZX 1138, the comet, and you're gonna try and find a way line to jumpstart yourself from there.
Yes,
is the idea. Okay, cool. So we've got the detail. Let's talk about. Go ahead and pick your loadout for this mission, everybody.
I'm gonna be on the ship, so I'm gonna do
heavy this time, man.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna need all the things.
Yeah, going heavy.
So, I guess what's the difference for you guys between normal and heavy? Is it just one?
Yeah, it's just one spot, but
No, okay.
one spot could be
It makes all the difference.
I didn't know if that was. I don't know if it was different between like a mechanic or like I don't know.
It's 3 for light, 5 for normal, 6 for heavy. For me.
I'm just gonna stick with normal.
Yeah, I'm gonna check to see.
You'll regret it.
Yep, on the regular printed character sheets, it's 5 and 6 as well.
Yeah. Okay, I was more just curious, like if it like changed, like for like I don't know, what are muscle like heavy would be 7 or 8 or something like that,
Right.
Just 6.
Like,
yep.
You as a mechanic might need the repair tools and the spacesuit, and maybe it would be good to have armor on that spacesuit,
Yep.
and that's 5 right there.
Yeah. All right. You know what?
Or actually, the
We'll go.
ship repair tools is 2, because you're probably going to want the ship repair tools rather than regular repair tools.
Yep, that's kind of what I was thinking too.
So
okay,
but remember, you don't have to choose what you have yet. You just your the full
it's just
loadout.
which one am I going to go with? Which I guess you guys are right. We're probably not going to be doing a whole lot of running around outside the ship for this. So
Something may have gone horribly wrong.
All right. So we got 1 die for the engagement roll right now. Is the operation particularly bold or daring? I would say if you were going through the if you were going through the fire,
would be.
I would the belt of fire. Yeah. I would say it was. No, I also don't think it.
Fire.
But it's not overly complex or contingent on many factors, so there's not a -1. Does it expose a vulnerability to the target or hit them when they're weakest? I'll give you a die for that. Basically, you're going around the guild inspectors.
We're also without our ship, so
you are. You could
certainly make an argument that it puts us at something of a disadvantage.
True, but I know that you're going to be on a really nice racing ship as well, so that might change things as well.
We've got the best damn mechanic on this ship right here.
By the way, I talked to Polaris. She's stuck in the middle of a zip line, just hanging there. That's why she's not here right now.
Can any of your friends or contact provide aid or insight? Yeah, you have that.
We've got more mechanics than we need right now. 1 more.
Well, he's not going to go with. He's not going with you.
Yeah, I know.
So,
but I imagine if we need, well, I don't know. Are you able to make comm calls through when you're inside the thing? Because I imagine he would still be like a comm call away should you need him.
Yeah. Yeah. There are. I'm trying to remember how communication works. I know that you can talk via Ansible like instantly, but I think
like I thought it was as long as you're in the same system, you're fine. It's when you're trying to communicate between systems that's when things get a little wonky.
Yeah. But I think if you're like in system and on a ship trying to talk to something, you're at the mercy of radio and the speed of light.
Oh, okay.
So, It might
Okay,
take a
never
few
mind.
minutes back and forth, sort of, to have the conversation.
I got you.
Okay, so you do have some rivals interfering, so that's going to be a -1. So we have 2 dice for the engagement roll. Let's see what happens here.
6, 6,
Of
6,
course,
6.
yeah.
1, 1.
We have a 2
Oh.
and a 6.
Oh, okay.
Ah, that's not a Twitch-like roll.
Yeah.
Boring.
Shoot, I should have had Twitch roll. Yeah. Next time I'll have Twitch roll all the engagement rolls from now on.
That's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Not for this roll. I can tell you, I just
so
rolled
it was
two
not
twos.
it was not a critical. You're in a controlled position when the action starts. So I would say, as a controlled position, you got to the shipyard. That's basically, it's like a non-guild shipyard that's been constructed in the outermost asteroid belt, and it's fairly close to your entry point with the waygate, and then fairly sparsely populated, especially compared to the station you were just on. And you've gotten to the ship. There's a few people here they're basically show you around the ship, and you've gotten there. But you do notice that there's you've noticed, as you've been given a tour of the dock and the outside of the ship, and you're about to enter the ship, you do notice that there's a group of people that have been hanging around this dock that have been taking a little bit more attention on you than anything else. They've been watching you pretty closely, but they have not done anything yet.
So we haven't acquired the. So I'm sorry. Are we at the beginning or the end? So we're at the part where we're picking up the ship.
You are at the ship. The skeleton mechanical crew here has given you kind of the overview of the ship. Showed you it, given you the command codes to activate. To be able to fly the ship, and basically you are in a controlled position where you can get on the ship and leave, but there's a group of people here at the dock that is not with those people that has been paying an extraordinary amount of attention to you and kind of giving you guys a stink eye. So something might happen or not when you are attempting to get onto the ship.
No autographs. I think we just
like autographs. I'll give autographs.
boldly walk towards the ship like nothing's happening, right? Like we're where we're supposed to be. They're not where they're supposed to be. And
Okay.
Jagger can always go punch him or something.
Jagger is ready to punch at a moment's notice.
Why don't we just get the other mechanic to go punch? He's got biceps.
He's not here.
You do have biceps. They are simply not large.
Noodles have better biceps.
Twitch is going to spend the entire time here just lifting weights. Not even
Those are
paying
the really
attention to the
tiny
shit.
weights.
No, he's going to lift weights, but it's 0G.
So what do you think, guys? We go right onto the ship, or do we go?
I think we just head straight
up?
for it. We don't have time to mess around. So
Yeah.
we're just
Time is of
going,
the
taking a
essence.
beeline for the ship and getting the heck out of here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me make a quick luck roll here. Okay. Yeah, so you get on the ship and get in and are starting it up, and you see that like those people obviously were not expecting you to leave that quickly and are kind of scrambling and headed for the berth of the ship. And you know, in the camera, in the screens that you see some of them have small arms like pistols and such, that they're not going to hurt a ship. So that's what you see.
That's all right, gentlemen.
They might be able to get through the airlock, but depends on how fast you get out of here.
I can skip a few steps in the pre-flight. It's okay. But you don't need all those checks, right? Like, it's a good ship. The crew was just here checking it out. Like, we got this. So
Twitch is looking through the laundry list of checks.
What?
Of all the different
checklist. Just don't worry. We got this. We got this. Just, get to the engine, get ready to like give her a little gas, a lot of gas, all the gas. We're gonna be right out of here.
Okay.
Jagger, maybe, I don't know, like hang out by the airlock just in case.
Oh, Jagger will hang out in the airlock just in case.
Sure.
So I want to make a. What I want to do is like, so this is kind of like I am doing the streamlined, cut down, just like most straightforward startup and firing sequence possible, right? So like, I may be breaking a couple of laws, just kind of running through like the watchtower. We probably don't even have clearance.
This is an illegitimate, shipyard per se. It's not a guild-run shipyard, so
good point.
There's that.
So like, I almost forget to release the docking clamps.
Okay, so I'm going to do a couple of things. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start a race start clock, and it's going to have 8 segments. So the longer you take and the more you're delayed, the more that clock fills up. So you have to get there before that clock fills. And let's see, what else do we want to do here? We want to, you are trying to get out and move the ship. You will need, you're cutting down on those things. You are in a controlled position because of the way you started things off. So I would say it's a controlled roll with standard effect for, I'm assuming you're gonna helm.
Yeah, I'm gonna helm, but I can. I'm trying to bring up my. I can switch it to. What's the next step down from controlled?
There is no next step down from controlled.
Up from controlled.
Risky.
So if I go to risky for great effect, right, I can make that trade.
Right. Do you have a talent that allows you to do that? Is that what you're saying? Or
no, I'm saying like we can just like, isn't that part of the give and take?
That's a good question.
I'm trying to remember.
I don't think we've done that before. But I think you're right. We'll do it that way. Sure. Sure. That's downtime. Yeah, you know what? I will say if you,
there you go.
Yeah, I will say your if you're cutting the checklist down, and you're burning out of there as fast as you can. I would say that the great effect that you'd be able to do. Well, you know what? So there's the race start. Let me make another clock. And
burned out the ship.
I'm gonna 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 10. I'm gonna make a like a ship progress clock that has 12 segments in it.
Oh.
And so if you're going to shift up to great effect, I believe great effect allows you to tick 3 on a clock. That you'll boost out of there so fast that you'll get 3 ticks on that clock. So when you reach the 12th tick, you will have arrived. And you just need to make sure that you get there before the race start, which has an 8 tick clock.
Gotcha. So for those of you playing along at home or here, on page 28, they talk about trading position for effect. So basically, you do what you just did, which is you say, this sounds to me like it's controlled for standard effect. And Ordwell, being Ordwell, comes back and says, but wouldn't it be more interesting
Yeah.
if it were risky for great effect or desperate for risky for great effect? Right.
Yeah,
So,
in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and adjust my screen here with Discord. Luckily, I have a fairly clean desktop, and pull those clocks onto the screen for people to see. All right. I'd like to. That looks better, I think. Okay. Yeah, they're not going to be big anyway,
Nice.
but okay. So I'm using a site called meromorph.com, rp.meromorph.com/blades. They have a nice online clock generator for us. So figure I'd plug them since I'm using their stuff. Call it getting there. So you made so risky, great effect. Let's see. I'm going to say, yeah. So if you fail this, there's going to be definitely some sort of complication. So let's see how this goes.
So I got two dice for helm.
Yep.
Right, because my helm is 2. Sorry, I need to pull up the cheat sheet portion of this.
You can push yourself or Devil's Bargain.
Right. So I could push myself, take 2 stress to get 1 more bonus die. If Twitch, gooses the engines at the exact right moment, he could assist to give me another die if he takes 1 stress.
I've already taken the stress, so don't worry.
That puts you at 4 dice.
Yep.
Twitch basically closed down that checklist, and he didn't even bother with the checklist for the thrusters. He's already turned them on.
It's like, oh, we're doing it that way. Okay.
There's a big ball of fuel, sitting in the engine compartment, right? Like, it's when I go on campouts with my son and the scouts, right? And they're lighting a propane stove, but you can just smell the propane, but they haven't successfully lit the damn thing yet. Can't wait for this candle to ignite. All right, so that puts us at 4 dice.
I've got.
You
want
to use a gambit just to
I mean, you could use a gambit, or you could roll and hope to gain a gambit.
Well, this is true. I mean, 4 dice is pretty good.
4 dice
and
is
it's
pretty
not
good.
Twitch rolling, so.
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost a 1-in-1 ratio right now.
So you have 4 dice to get a 6 on.
Yeah,
you could do it.
And if we don't, it's just interesting.
And it's not me rolling, so
Well, that's right.
That we've established.
All right, here we go. Oh, all right. So I got 3 5s. And
Okay.
A 2.
All right. Risky, but suffer harm. Complication occurs. you have reduced effect, or you end up in a desperate position. So you pull away from the dock and out the screens, out the atmosphere screens, and tear off into the black. Jagger, you were seeing that they were coming up. You saw one of them had at their side kind of a portable grinder cutter implement that they were going to cut into the airlock with. Since you are already inside, it was going to take several minutes for them to get through if they were going to use that. You think that they were planning on jumping you before, but either with the way you arrived or the way you went into the ship or whatever, they didn't realize that you were going to be here and gone so fast. So they weren't able to get the jump on you. That's what a 6 on the engagement roll gets you. However, this is when you realize that this is a stripped down racing ship. And Ordwell, it's been a long time since you've raced. And everyone is slammed against a wall, a dash, some sort of surface over the edge of the pilot's chair as these quick maneuvers and thrusts happen. When you realize that anti-grav inertial dampening stuff is the bare minimum on one of these ships. In terms of like lateral movements and stuff. You have to it's a bare minimum because you didn't engage them. Because you skipped the checklist.
Right.
I mean, retcon that a little bit.
At least we're not all pudding.
What are the checks?
Yeah. Normally, the racing ships are really, really good with inertial dampeners because they have to perform maneuvers like this, but you skip the checklist. So
put the damn switch there. That's not where he usually puts the switch.
So
switch
everyone,
switch.
I'm going to say everyone is going to suffer a level 1 harm.
Ooh.
Unless you want to resist it, of course.
I do. I would like to resist it.
So I get an extra die when resisting the consequences of piloting.
This would be one of those consequences.
So I forget, what do we roll for resistance?
So it's 1 die per attribute dot. So I would say this would be just a prowess because it's mainly physical. Yeah. You're being slammed against bulkhead doors, over a command console, into some engine parts, all that kind of stuff.
All right. So since I have 3 pips of 1 for helm, scramble, and scrap that are in the gray area of my character sheet, that would count as 3.
And then it's a piloting thing, so you have
Ace
4
pilot.
dice.
What happens when we resist?
Also has 3.
Yeah.
And then our mechanic has 0.
Nice. So he rolls, does the disadvantage roll?
Yes. So Twitch will be rolling 2 dice and accepting the lower of the 2 values. Because of this, you will automatically resist the harm, but basically there's 6 stress, and then it's minus your die roll, and that's how much stress you take resisting this damage.
Okay. All right.
What'd you get?
Damage. Right?
If I take 6 stress, I will be at maximum stress.
Well, you will automatically take. You will only at maximum take 5 stress.
Take 5, yeah.
It's a piece of cake.
But I'll be right there on the edge.
Yep.
Or you could just take 1 harm, right? And you just check off the box for 1 harm, and then
you could do that.
Right.
Yeah.
But he still has 1 charm because he's still tripping.
because brain
So
slugs.
yeah, so it's a kind of juggling act.
Let's see what you can do.
So what
You want me
happens when I go over my stress? It becomes a trauma, right?
That's a good question.
Or does that just
I
become
think that
harm?
becomes a harm.
Yes,
Trauma
it's really-
happens when your
You
harm
exceed
when it goes
3
over
harm.
harm.
Yeah.
When the harm goes above 3. Okay.
Yeah.
So
But you can have 2 level 1 harms, so you still have room for a level 1 harm. Just
Yeah.
saying.
So yeah. So cool. All right. You know what? Sure. Let's just resist it and take the stress, because then I'll be almost at a harm and not actually at a harm.
Yep.
Eh.
Well, you haven't rolled yet. You don't know how bad it's going to be. I mean, it could be great. It
Oh,
won't be,
no.
but it could be.
No, actually, Josh was right. When you mark your last stress box, you suffer a level of trauma.
Ooh. Oops.
So yeah, nope. I'll just take the harm.
So the GM
trauma
has to give a name
conditions
to your harm, right?
and trauma conditions are permanent.
Ah, okay.
Ooh.
So the GM has to give a name to your harm, right?
There's like cold, haunted, obsessed, paranoid, reckless, soft, unstable, and vicious. So there's a
that's
couple of
trauma?
different ones. That's trauma.
Well, but he's taking a harm rather than trying
Oh,
to
the
resist.
harm.
So
Yeah,
you have to give him
harm.
a name for his harm. So, honk your noggin or something like that.
Yeah, I would say bruised and battered would be a good one.
Okay.
That's on
kids.
account of you having all that blood and soft tissue, which is not a problem for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What'd you say it was?
Bruised and battered.
Bruised and battered. There we go.
As opposed to battered and fried.
Battered.
All right, I'm
Does
rolling 2 dice.
someone happen to have the position and effect pages? I'm trying to find it right now.
You want to be around 26 through 30.
Oh, that early, huh? Okay.
Yep.
I'm trying to find the ticks. Okay. Yeah, okay, so you succeeded, so you automatically get 3 ticks, even though you're suffering that harm. So you are a quarter of the way to your ship's progress, so that's a good thing.
Twitch is just laying on the floor.
It's just
I rolled a
just
6.
like, ow.
You rolled a 6 on your resist roll?
I did.
yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah.
I rolled a 5 on my resist roll, so I'm going to be taking 1 stress. And what Jagger does in the airlock is basically his arms just kind of flip around in a very non-human sort of way, and he manages to catch himself before smacking into the bulkhead.
Gotcha. Strains your servos a little.
Little bit. No big deal. Nothing he can't handle.
And I can totally see Ordwell like, pulling the stick over, and then his other hand is like clicking in the last of the 5-point harness.
Right. And then after we boost, we come out of it and kind of pop it. That was great, guys. Oh. Flip on the switch and then pulls over the checklist and goes, oh, yeah, probably should turn that on. And after the fact,
it's
a few extra switches.
It's like 8 steps down,
Twitch
if it was that important, they should have put it higher.
Twitch is on the floor, just looking over to the side, and just sees Climber clutched onto a console somewhere, just perfectly fine. You suck.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. So you're zooming out into the black, and you have a course plotted for. I'm just going to call it THX 1138. You have it plotted for the 1138 comet, and you see you haven't really had a chance to really appreciate the ship yet because you just got on and then realized, oh, we got to go, and it's gleaming, it's brand spanking new. It is it is purring. It is a well-built ship. It is dense and packed with things. The ship is much smaller than the Star Dancer. but it's not meant for a live aboard crew. It is meant for racing. And so there is very little space, but what space there is here is beautiful, clean lines. The food in the there's not a galley, but there's like a food dispenser. Their automated like we're on a long race food dispenser is nicer than some of the stuff on the Star Dancer in terms of the quality of the food that's here. It is just a really, really nice ship, and all the chairs have their padding still in it. Not that Jagger
doesn't
really care.
But Jagger is going to go around and peel the film off of every screen that he can find.
Yeah, several of the screens still do have that film on it, and there's like you have a moment where you notice that there's an entire ship panel that has that, and just spend time just peeling 4-foot section of the covering plastic off.
I don't know how, but ASMR is totally a thing for Jagger. Yeah. Yes.
Oh.
Hey, Jagger, I got a little beat up when we took off. You think you could give me that code to get into the medical supplies real fast?
Medical supplies that are on the Star Dancer, the ship we are not on right now? No.
Oh boy.
Doc would have brought along a med bag.
He's gonna pat himself down.
I have observed a technique that may help here. And Jagger reaches out and kind of punches Twitch in the shoulder and says, "Walk it off."
Not a hard punch, but
just kind of a
bonk. Gotcha.
All right.
Your shoulder appears to be dislocated. No, it's not. No, it's not. It appears to be dislocated. I saw this on a drama once.
Nice.
That's what happens when you don't bring the dog.
Have we reached?
Are all of your fluids remaining inside?
Inside, but probably in the wrong places.
Fluid leakage is the first sign that something is remiss. I have observed this.
Well,
for robots too.
I'm sure
Indeed.
a bit of it is staining my pants too. Right now. Kind of walk up. Have we reached the comet yet?
Why don't we take a 10-minute break? Is that cool with you guys?
Yeah,
it works.
10 minutes.
All right.
Yep.
All right. We'll all be back soon, people.
Probably behind a comet.
Let's see if we can do this. There we go. All right. And we're back. Okay. So, the crew of, normally the Star Dancer. I don't have a ship name. It's something I didn't think about. What's the name of this ship, everybody?
Come on, pilot.
Let me hear. Chandra Snitch Jusik is the ace pilot who is going to be piloting this with his crew in the race. He's the Chandra, just from what little you know of his racing profile, is a Xeno that is a type of bird. It has 4 enormous wings and 4 small legs with a short, elegant sort of tail. It's emerald green with white cloud-shaped patches over her feathers and a bright yellow beak. So, odd-looking Xeno. Odd from a human's eyes, per se. But that is what this pilot's chair is made for. So
Oh boy, I'm sure that's really comfortable. It's probably something like the Shrike or the Kite or something like that.
I like the Shrike. We'll call it the Shrike.
Okay.
And yeah, so they've swapped out the normal pilot chair for a human oriented pilot chair, but it's definitely like a temporary one. But like if need be, this ship could be if you needed to get rid of weight or things like that, like the chairs are made to be detached easily and thrown out an airlock or something if they really need to happen. But so you're on your way to the comet, to the 1138 comet, because I can't remember the thing without thinking of George Lucas's first film. So you're on your way there. You're doing anything special on your way there or anything like that?
No, I don't think so. I mean, just like admiring the ship's lines and just like reveling in all the glory years. I'm probably boring the hell out of everybody with, and then there was this one race, and then there was this other race. And it reminds me of that time on this one planet, and we had to, go through the Deadlands. It was so amazing.
This is as fast as the ship can go.
We got to fly casual until we get to the way, like it's all good. Besides, I got more stories. Don't worry. I can keep this up for like at least another day.
He was probably with his other mechanic friend during these.
Well, yeah, of course.
This is fascinating.
Crave this, crave that. Blah, 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 blah.
Sarcasm circuits engaged. These are gripping stories.
Yeah, and Ordwell.
Yeah, they're just fantastic.
This is the nicest racer you have ever been on. Actually, I should ask you: is this the nicest racer that you've ever been on? Like, are you normally like a stock car kind of race person, or are you used to racing like the super high end monohull catamaran, race type things?
I envision Ordwell has got to. I have to go back and check my backstory, but I envision that Ordwell was like working on all of these kind of knocked together racers as he kind of worked his way up through the lower ranks, and then finally he made it to the show, and he might have had like a handful of like amazing races, and then something happened, and after that he was out of racing.
Gotcha.
So he's probably got that like little taste, like he got called up to the Yankees for 2 games. You always remember those 2 games.
Gotcha. All right. All right. So you're flying casual and get to the vicinity of the 1138 comet. There's a lot more gas and dust in this area due to the comet's passing, kind of coming up in its tail. I'm going to mark 3 ticks for the getting there clock out of the 8 for the amount of time that you've spent. You spent several days to get there. So,
Oh man.
Your ways, getting through the ways is what's gonna speed things up. But you're gonna kind of stay in the shadow of the comet for a little while to bypass some of the inspectors, and you got to find a way into the ways. So,
Ordwell, I have observed human behavior on the social networks. And I must ask you now, on a scale from 1 to 10, how much do you want to hump the ship?
Well,
I'm sorry.
like outraged for a moment,
isn't it?
A gentle feminine voice actually rings out when you say this. There will be no ship humping today or any day on this trip.
She talks. The answer was 12. She talks.
And now it's at 15.
Shriek, where have you been all my life?
Which is just freaking out right now because the technology just talked.
I was.
And everybody else
Yeah.
can hear it.
Yeah,
This is new.
He
I was just
still
built over
tripping.
the last 5 years, so I don't know where you were in the last 5 years.
Not with you. Not with you.
Everybody
We're
else
gonna
is
have
hearing us.
fun. We're gonna have a lot of fun. You ready for the wait? Wait, did you find that wayline yet?
Everyone should be able to hear me. Yes, Twitch.
Whoa.
We were not informed that the ship was equipped with an AI, were we?
No, you were not.
No, we were not.
Also, AI that controls shipboard systems is one of those illegal things that is not allowed.
Well, don't worry, darling. We won't be talking about you.
Did you forget to turn her on during the checklist? Is that one of the things that you skipped over? And now she's activated?
Probably.
I have been activated since before you entered the ship.
So you allowed your pilot not to engage the inertial dampeners before takeoff?
The pilot is the one that can override any systems.
Oh. Interesting.
I assist where
I'm just
needed.
curious about your safety protocols.
What safety protocols?
That's
Yeah.
This is a racing vessel.
Oh man. It's like you are
Running
so
past
beautiful.
running past the red line is part of my functionality.
Ooh, we're going plaid. Don't you worry.
I was waiting for whenever that reference was coming. They've entered ludicrous speed.
we call you Shrike.
You may call me Shrike, yes.
Hi, Shrike.
It would probably be best if you ignored most of what comes out of Twitch's mouth.
Hey.
Crawler is a very good conversationalist, however.
Well, yeah, okay, I can't fault you for that one. Yeah. He is a pretty good conversationalist. All right. So you want me to, I guess do my thing? I need some quiet. That means no more stories about Triv. All right. He's gonna get down in like a nice little, nice little spot. Take a nice deep breath, and then pull out his drugs and start doing it.
You mean euphemistically, you're attuning to the way, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that is
All
what
right.
he is doing.
In
In his own special way. Twitch is a special boy.
Let's see. We haven't done this before, so I think you've answered the first quote unquote GM question, which is how do you open your mind to the way, and what does that look like?
Mind expanding drugs.
Brute
Yes.
force.
Brute force.
Brute
Yes.
force.
Brute chemical force. So, what energy are you attuning to? What do you hope the energy will do?
I guess we're looking for like guidance, I guess. What are the different kinds of energy?
You're making it up.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We're looking for the cosmic way to show us the way to get on the way.
Okay. Yeah. So you're letting your mind expand to feel the way in the area and find way lines that you might enter into that are going in the proper direction to get you across the thing.
Basically, like, we know that this comet is kind of influenced by the different, like, way lines and stuff like that. So it's basically, like, kind of, I guess, opening up to the comet itself to see if the comet could give some direction of where to jump on.
Okay.
It says, go that
Okay.
way really fast. If something gets in your way, turn.
Do you know what the street value of this comet is?
What does anything about you change while you attune?
Ooh.
Oh, there's this slug in his head.
Just sort of ripples across the underskin of his forehead.
It glows green.
I always picture the way as being kind of bluish, so
Okay.
let's say that he gets kind of like this little, just a really faint, like, bluish aura kind of around him. And he already has, like, blue-greenish eyes, like, kind of like lake water color eyes, but they get a little bit, like, lighter blue, I guess.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And he seems calmer for some reason. Like, not as twitchy. Just seems like...
Okay. All right. So I would say you're in a risky position because you're trying to enter a way line that you've never been through before. No, you know what? I'm going to change that. You're in a desperate position because you don't know how this comet is affecting or is affected by the way line.
All right.
Could possibly go wrong.
And then I would say it would be a standard effect.
Okay.
So how are you going to do this? So
Well,
you're obviously attuning.
Yeah, I'm attuning.
So that's
what, two?
2 dice. It's to start.
2. Yep. I'm definitely pushing myself, so there's 2 stress, so
Okay.
good thing I didn't take 5 earlier, right?
Oh, you don't want to take the devil's bargain? That'll help you with the stress problem, man.
Oh, actually, let's hear the devil's bargain before I take my stress.
Okay. Devil's
Before I mark
bargain
those 2 off.
and Devil's bargain and
We're just waiting for this brain slug to just slowly start taking control of me. That's when things really get fun. He's just walking around and all of a sudden his arm just slaps somebody.
Devil's bargain and this comet. And if you guys have a thought for one, that would be fine to listen to as well. But I think,
Well, it's so I could throw it out there, like, Space Slug becomes more, more assertive, and there's a little missing time because that's always fun.
ooh, yeah, I kind of like that.
And then you could have a clock for, like, missing time.
Exactly. I'm actually gonna start and/or tick a troublesome clock. So this would be like more of a long-term clock.
Oh, man.
Related to the still tripping. I would say that the devil's bargain is the brain slug is feeding off of the way energy that you were pulling into yourself and allowing it to flow through you. And it's getting bigger and is growing and gestating into a new form in your head.
In brain slug.
All right.
Let's see. And I'll do that as an
slug grows.
an 8-tick clock where the slug grows.
Oh no!
If you accept it.
Oh, I thought it was only on 4 slices for a second.
Oh yeah,
freaking out.
Yeah. They all start on 4, and then I have to tick them up or down.
Okay.
I mean, we could go back to a 4 if you want.
Yeah, you know what? Why not? Let's do that. It beats me taking 2 stress.
Okay.
Let's take it.
Weird slug creature growing in your brain or 2 stress. Yeah. 2 stress is that's too much, man.
It's fantastic.
Who knows? It could be beneficial in the future. Who knows?
Yeah.
It might be a good thing that the devil has bargained for it to grow.
Right. Okay, so action. Someone's helping you, or is someone helping you?
I mean, they're assisting me by being
I
quiet.
should ask. There's so you've
That's
got
the best I could
2
do is be quiet.
2 dice for a tune. You took a devil's bargain, so that's 3. You could spend a gambit, and someone could help you.
I mean, if you guys want to assist me somehow.
I'll come in and start lighting some candles.
I mean, you being the pilot.
It's burning incense, chanting, playing some Enya in the background.
I mean, Ordwell being the pilot, you've gone in and out of waylines before, so you could definitely help kind of pinpoint things.
Yeah.
Or you could, or incense is good. I mean, they're equal, right?
Yeah.
I forget. I don't. Do I roll for the assist? Or
No,
it's just take the stress.
It's just 1 stress, I believe, for the assist.
Yeah. Yep.
It's probably more annoying for me to help with we're almost into the way. Just a little to the right. I don't know. We're almost there. We're losing it. We're losing it. Go back.
Little left, up, down,
We're cold.
down.
We're cold. We're warm.
Right.
Your left.
Roll,
your left.
roll, yaw.
Do I want to take the
candles.
gambit? I've got 4 dice now. Do I want to take the gambit? Or should I just...
This is a fairly critical juncture. I would say take the gambit.
And if you do end up rolling 2 6s, that would increase the effect to a great effect. So instead of ticking 2 on the ship progress, it would tick 3 on the ship progress.
I would take it. I would use the gambit. We're halfway through the session anyway, so
Yeah,
I mean, he's going to roll all 1s, but whatever.
basically,
we're just giving you more options to succeed.
All right,
because it is, and also it is desperate right now. So
yeah, that is true. So bad things could definitely happen.
Uh-huh.
All right,
Worse than the slug in your head.
all 5 of the D6 that I have. Let's go.
1 1 1 2 1.
Okay. Completely the opposite, actually. 4 5 5 6 6.
Okay. So you did do a critical.
Not even a fail in there.
Yeah, so you did do a critical. You feel, you feel and you see the aura around you, and in your mind's eye, you could attune and sense the way before, like most people can, but something about this, something about your efforts this time opens up that vision, and you can see through the way. You can see a bunch of way lines tangled in the midst of this comet. There is something inside this comet that is directly affecting the way. And you're seeing this, you attune to it. this experience with the way is the most intense that you have ever had in the past. It is, and something in you almost reaches out to the comet. It almost seems like a piece of you is almost reaching out to whatever's in that comet. And
like
you find
slug in your brain is reaching out.
Could be.
First, just push it on this part.
Yeah. And you find you go through several different way lines that could get you closer until you pick a very small but very fast way line that you are able to guide Ordwell into, and your ship jumps forward and into the way. And we will click 3 ticks up on the ship progress chart because you got a great effect.
That was intense.
And you're traveling just smooth, really fast along the way. There was definitely a feeling of speed, even with the inertial dampeners now active. You all kind of get pushed back a little bit as you enter the way line. And Ordwell, you realize that you are traveling. This has to be a very, very fast way line compared to most normal way lines that you would find inside of a system. And you're kind of you've plotted the way line and you're arcing over Iota 1 and 2, over the ecliptic of it, and it kind of bends around almost like a magnetic sort of field line, and should get you down fairly close to the starting line. You'll actually pop out in on the other side of the system. You're going to pop out very near the other asteroid belt, and astronomically speaking, fairly close to the starting line.
Awesome.
Oh boy, that felt really good. That was I mean, I don't even know how to explain that to you.
You
It was
need a
like
cigarette.
I mean, I just had better than that. That comet had something in it that was connecting to the way, and it was, oh man, that was the most intense feeling I have ever had.
Yes,
I mean, listen, I have heard these things from, since I was little, but, whew, that was different, and it was nice. I need a cigarette. You're right.
I pull out one of my victory cigars. Not quite yet. Not quite yet.
Yes, that comet did have a higher than normal gravitational effect when we were nearby it. More than you would expect from ice and dust.
Ooh.
Well, thanks for that analysis, Streak. We appreciate that.
We'll have to remember that and circle back and go to that comet again. I need to feel that again. We need to go back there again. There's something in my brain that just wants me to go back there.
Perhaps another job.
Note taking off to the
Would
side.
you like us to go back? Would you like us to go back and drop you off?
No, I'm good for right now. But sometime.
So I fly. I guess so. I guess at this point we're like we've evaded most of the security or what have you. So now we need to get down to where is the starting line? Is it next to the planet or is it like on the planet?
So the starting line is near. Let me find the ship system. The system again. It's near. It is near the moon Gap on Amaranth. Gap is a shattered moon that rings the planet. So there's part of a moon. Or large chunks of a moon that are still held together gravitationally, but it is slowly becoming a ring around Amaranth. So, just like the one large, mostly intact planet that has become also an asteroid ring in the system. So, lots of weird stuff tearing planets and moons apart in this system. Or started to before humanity arrived. In fact, the asteroid belt you are arriving at is the one that still has that mostly intact planet, and it will be near-ish by where you exit, which does have a lot of Starsmiths guilds. People working at various shipyards and mining interests that are basically tearing the rest of the planet apart for all of its natural resources.
Of course.
To make more ships. To make more ships.
Of course. If they're like this, I'm totally down with that. I don't think there's any other ships like this.
There are no other ships like me.
So what do we need to do to get to the starting line? Like fly through the asteroid fields? Like we're not actually going to the starting line. We're going to like presumably the pit stop. Right?
You're going to Gap, and you need to get Triv gave you a docking berth where you need to get to the ship on Gap.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so you could, you've got a couple of options of like, do you go into the asteroid field and skirt around inside of it, avoiding the last of the guild there, which also begs the question of, how close do you get to the asteroid field before you drop out of the wayline? Because the further away, the more of a chance that the Starsmiths guilds and such will detect you exiting where that planet is, and that's where some of those scanners for the guild inspectors will be located. There's another possibility is you drop out early, find another wayline, and jump in and pop out near Gap as well. There's a bunch of different things you could do. Plus, you could just make up stuff.
I think popping out as close, like we're supposed to get here as quickly and non-detectedly as possible. So
right.
I think if we can drop out of the wayline very close and evade the checkpoints, then that seems like our best bet. Right? Like we're just going to like whoosh, boom, pop right back into existence. And so I think the challenge will be like making sure we're exiting at the right spot.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because we're trying to like dance on the head of a pin, sort of, is how I'm envisioning it. Right? Like we're trying to thread the needle. Maybe better metaphor. As opposed to like skulking our way through the asteroid field to get closer. We know that there's also entanglements, so they might be waiting for us once we actually get into the port. But given that, I think dropping out of the way might be close to Gap. It might be our best bet. But what do you guys think?
Sure.
I don't know. You have the exquisite timing, I think, right, Jagger? Do you have a timer kind of built into your, whatever you are?
I certainly do, as I'm sure Shrike does as well.
It's called a clock.
Yeah. What are
This is like a
those?
super clock.
I'm just saying, if we're talking precision and timing here, I'd trust a robot.
But it's also the way. So, so what's the
True.
plan? Are you dropping out close to the asteroids and threading through the asteroids? Are you dropping out trying to find, or like earlier, trying to find another way line that gets you close to Gap?
Okay, so this way line that we're on right now isn't actually going to get us that, like,
Correct.
drop us next to Gap. We would
Correct.
have to, like,
It's gonna drop you closer
way lines.
to like the planet that is being torn apart and becoming an asteroid field.
Gotcha.
Gap is becoming a ring around Amaranth, so that might have been where some of the confusion was.
Oh, okay.
So there's lots of things getting torn apart and creating rings around something. So if you drop out, you know that the more you're Ordwell, you know that while there might be entrances to way lines inside of the asteroid field, getting in or popping out in the asteroid field, extremely, extremely dangerous. So,
Which is why we're going to do that.
Yeah. I mean, it would shave some time off, but it's it's really, really risky, desperate even. So you could, it would take more time to thread your way through the asteroid field and fly there, but you think you could probably get there in time. Or you could use the way line and pop over.
You said that there's a like space builder, shipbuilder, like guilds in the area.
The Starsmith Guild has lots of mining and shipbuilding installations on the planet that's in the asteroid field that's being ripped apart. They're pulling out all the metals and other precious material that's in that planet and building ships and other things with it. And those are the people that you want to avoid because they will scan your ship and upgrade the ship scans for the race.
Okay. Would, I guess, Twitch with his Gilder background, would he know like I guess their capabilities of how close can we get to them before they would notice us ish?
Yeah, I would say that you would be able to figure that out. Like especially if your Gilder background is like Starsmith Guild or Starsmith Guild adjacent.
Yeah, basically he used to help build ships, so he's basically part of a shipbuilding guild.
Gotcha.
But
I think then we drop out of the asteroid field. We drop out next to the asteroid field and then navigate in using your insights and, maybe punching the occasional rock.
Jagger, get out in front of the ship.
Jagger asks Shrike about what sort of weapons she doesn't have installed. Definitely not officially installed. What sort of weapons do you not officially have installed? Yes, that sort of thing.
I don't officially have anything installed.
And what do you unofficially have installed?
I don't unofficially have anything installed.
Unofficially.
In terms of weapons. Some people...
Do you have any offensive capabilities at all?
I am not offensive at all. I resent that implication. I do have a mass driver, but that's purely for knocking things out of the way. It's not a weapon.
That doesn't sound... that's not an offensive capability?
I don't consider it such.
Well, I am a mass driver, and I use
are
it
a mass
offensively.
driver.
and I use my mass driving offensively, so I think that could be qualified as an offensive capability. How does one operate your mass driver?
After the race is over, I would love to show you.
Oh goodness.
We may need it before the race begins.
Two mechanicals hitting on each other. Or one mechanical hitting on another one. I don't know if the other one got it, but, you know. When we get to... I have nothing to... No mass to drive. So we will need to get to... While in this wayline, we will need to get to the asteroid field in order to have anything to...
Understood.
Project.
Just something
Sounds
to
like a plan.
keep in our back pocket in case we need to move an asteroid.
Okay.
Indeed.
I sense the nice plan coming together, guys.
Roll some dice.
All right. Yeah, so you are coming out. How close to the asteroid field have you decided to come out?
Pretty close.
Pretty close.
Like, I don't think we would come out desperate, but like risky.
Okay. So you've traveled all the way across the system from the 1138 comet. I'm going to tick 2 more up on the race start. You've got 3 ticks left. Little over half. And I would say that you are in a risky situation as you're exiting because there's large rocks here. Standard effect. You don't want to fail this.
But wouldn't it be interesting if you did?
Yeah, it would be. So how do you want to do this?
So I'm assuming. So what's our? I guess the question is who's making the roll, right?
Yes, that would be
Oh,
one.
is it a? So it's either
Gold or an attune, right?
yeah.
Well, we're coming out, right?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could attune. I could see attuning to pick just the right moment. I could see definitely helm. But other things you could definitely scramble is to position or is to scramble to a position or away from danger. I could also see a scramble also be a possibility to roll as well.
I rolled to get us in. Somebody else rolled to get us out.
All right, I'll roll helm to get us out.
Okay. 2 dice.
Because I imagine, quite honestly, I could point any second of the time for us to get out. If we're not going to get right up next to the asteroid belt, I could probably pick any time that I think is close enough.
That's when it's safe and
But
nice
it's,
and controlled.
Fine.
Right.
Can
So-
I burn a stress to assist, assuming that I am on the mass driver, prepared to drive mass?
Sure.
Okay. I'll
Yeah,
do that.
Shrike has shown you where the controls are.
All right.
All right, that brings me to 3. If
You gonna push
And I haven't
yourself or devil's bargain?
I think I'll push myself.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
I
The
haven't
double
taken it-
bargains are so fun, though.
I know they're great. I can get my own brain slug. The slug reproduces. That's the next clock.
The slug moves. Yep.
Suddenly, we're playing the alien role-playing game. I think I'm just going to push myself. I might need to devil's bargain later. I still have the stress right now, so
Okay.
I'll take the
So
I'll take the 2 stress,
4 now?
and then I'll put me to 4. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, you actually have more
And
than
we
me.
have
You have one gambit.
one gambit. Right. So I think maybe save the gambit for our last hurrah. 4 dice isn't too bad. Although you rolled better than me.
I believe in you.
There we go. I got a 6, a 5, and 2 2s.
Okay. You guys first. You do it, and you didn't spend a gambit, so you get another gambit. So you're at 2 gambit. You pop out exactly where you want to be. You're right outside the edge of the asteroid field, outside the scanning radius of the guilders, and are able to gently slip into the asteroid field, and begin to navigate your way through. Jagger, you are ready on the mass driver, but right now does not appear to need it. What you realize with the controls and with the screens that are up that show like the configuration of the ship, you realize that kind of the ship is kind of long, but it kind of has wing-like extensions on it. Those actually curl down and form most of a circle. And then a mass that is inside of that circle can be accelerated in either ahead or behind the ship.
Jagger practices by suggesting that Ordwell maneuver in such a way that he can fling a smallish asteroid just directly behind the ship, just as a practice. And if anybody's following us, unlikely, but it'll give them a surprise.
Okay.
Stealth asteroid.
Sure. Yeah, you're able to do that without any issues. You do maneuver over one, but of course, since you're in an asteroid belt, there's more things in it. So you actually have a small cluster of like gravelly type rocks and then a bigger rock. And as you activate the mass driver, basically everything that's within that ring suddenly isn't, and it's empty space there, including all the dust and everything has been accelerated away. There's Ordwell sees your velocity very slightly tick up when that happens, and kind of like a shotgun, you see on the sensors a bunch of other bigger asteroids get hit by things traveling at much higher speeds than they normally would travel in this asteroid field.
Sweet.
Whoa.
So you guys are flying along, doing not so bad. You are headed toward Gap, inside of the asteroid field. You guys do anything special or anything like that?
I'm gonna keep an eye out for the where I kind of see like some mining going on in the asteroids and stuff like that.
Okay.
Also warn our pilot to stay away from caves that are on asteroids because you never know what's inside them.
Giant sock puppets.
Yes.
Jagger's just
Very
going to
dangerous.
make small talk with Shrike the whole time.
Okay. Shrike's really pleasant to talk to. And you do find out that Shrike was installed on the ship recently, but after the race knows that they will be moved to another ship or a mechanical body or something else like that. That this is not the first ship or housing that Shrike has been in and has been moved. The memory core has been moved around multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I'm gonna say, like you're getting to know Shrike. Can you kind of? I kind of want to see how you and Shrike get along,
Okay.
and I was wondering if you would roll like a consort roll.
Okay. I have nothing in consort, so I'll just roll. I'll just roll 2 dice and see what happens. We're taking the lesser of the 2, right?
Yeah, unless you want to, you know, someone could assist you. You could push yourself, devil's bargain, all that kind of fun stuff. Even use a ship gambit.
Boy. I don't want to use the ship's gambit.
You got 2.
We've got 2.
Yeah, but I don't want to use it. If I do a devil's bargain, that'll give me 1 die, right?
That'll give you a die. And I will say this is a controlled situation. You're not. Okay. It's not a very risky thing.
All right.
But I will say, like, if you succeed, then Shrike will be much more amenable to either offering or giving you access to the other things that aren't supposed to be installed on this ship.
Right. Yeah, that's not the consort is not my
not your strong suit.
It's definitely not my strong suit. So I will take the devil's bargain. Yeah.
Okay.
What we got for devil's bargain? Actually, you know what? I'll use one of the gambits too, just to give myself 2 dice in the better of the 2.
That sounds good.
I think that's a good plan.
I'm gonna go with the purple one and the red one. But I want to hear about the devil's gambit first, obviously.
Yeah. So the devil's bargain.
Devil's bargain, yeah.
Let me see. That doesn't make any much sense.
You're gonna break my little mechanical heart, aren't you?
No, you know what? I'm gonna give you guys 1 heat, because after the race, Shrike is going to talk about your crew doing, like being here and doing the job and stuff.
I'll take it. So I've got rolling 2 dice. One is the devil's bargain. One is the gambit.
Yep.
And here we go. Oh, I rolled a 6. 6 and a 2. So I'm glad I didn't just... yeah. Glad I didn't just roll without, because that would have been ugly.
Yep. Could have been the 6, though, Oh, roll without, you would have had to take the lower.
I rolled with
That's true. That's true.
2, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you and Shrike get along pretty well. I don't have particular special things written out for what is on Shrike. So if and or when stuff comes up, we could make stuff up. Of things. We'll see if those things exist on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
So
but
that takes a little while. And how fast are you flying through the asteroid field there, Ordwell?
Come on. Who are we talking about here?
I mean, you don't go slow. It's just an asteroid field.
Yeah. So I would say, you need some progress here. I would say that's sounds like a piloting role, maybe, or sounds like a role with risky with standard effect. Unless you want to go faster.
Yeah, so I do get we haven't really, I don't know if we determined what potency meant. I get potency on all my speed related rolls, which just strikes me as so I think it means I get greater effect when I'm doing
I believe
speed.
It does. I believe it means you bump the effect up once.
Pilot, it should say under the pilot stuff, shouldn't it?
Well, I think I looked this up before, and it was a little. It goes to kind of like the calculation of, let's see.
I mean, potency's
Where
in
is it?
bold, so you would think that it's a keyword.
You would think that it's in the index, and it is not.
It is not in the index. I think this is one of those things that was meant to be and was later taken out, but they left it bold. Potency on all speed related
It is a
rolls.
defined term. It's under. I think it's under. It might be under position.
Oh, okay.
Oh, baby.
Potency, this factor considers particularly weaknesses, taking extra time or a bigger
there it
risk, or the influence of strange powers. A high-end guild device may be a potent safecracker, and per artifact may be potent against a night speaker's charms. A thief will be more potent skulking in the dark. So you assess 3 factors, potency, scale, and quality, to basically determine the effect. Right? Yeah. To assess effect level, first start with your gut feeling, given this situation. Then, if needed, assess 3 factors that may modify the effect level: potency, scale, and quality. So, your potency should, if you have potency, it should bump.
That would bump it to great, I would say.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Although, should I say, like, if I wanted to be mean, I would say you're threading your way through a very congested asteroid field, so which
would negate my speed.
It would negate your speed, so it would be back down to like a standard effect.
Right.
But I'm not going to do that right now. I also did something that younger me would have like cringed at sometimes, which is I actually wrote in my book, in my index, I put potency page 26. And then on page 88, where the ace pilot ability is next to potency, I says page 26 so that I can find it later.
Good call.
So, anyway, so let's fly through this asteroid field.
All right, so remind me where we landed then.
You are going to be risky with great effect because you have potency and you're in a race. So if we talk it out, it's you are in a condensed asteroid field, -1 die. You're in a racing ship, +1 die or +1 potency. So those cancel out.
Right.
You have potency for your piloting rolls. That would be an extra effect. So that bumps it from to great effect.
Okay, I'm cool with it. So I use my prowess. So I'm going to use helm for my piloting check. I will take the devil's bargain this time because I only have 3 stress left.
Do it.
Oh, I need to leave that like section bookmarked so I can
The devil's bargain.
think about
you
what.
gain
There's
3
a lot of
stress.
time with devil's bargain.
You gain 3 stress if you fail.
I'm gonna say the devil's bargain in this particular case, flying through a dense asteroid field with lots of chunks and dust, that there will be collateral damage on the ship, that there will be obvious damage on the outside of the ship as if it was flown through the asteroid field.
That's if that I get that regardless, right?
No, it won't.
Like, so if I
you won't. Like, it will not be obvious if you don't take the devil's bargain. If you do take the devil's bargain, then it will be obvious that the ship has been flown through the asteroid field. Although I'm trying to think of how that would. That would basically, you know what? Here, let's do it this way. You can take the devil's bargain because of the obvious extra marring on the outside of the ship, your payday goes down.
Okay.
Like
I
the amount that
think I
your
can-
crew will get paid will go down by one, but down a bit.
I can live with that. Because I'm in it for the thrill, not for the money. Although after this, I might be starting a project to build my own racer. Get back in the game, man.
I
All
like
right, that gives me one.
it gives you one. I also like how you haven't consulted the rest of your crew that you're going to do this.
It's not their devil's bargain. You guys cool with me taking this
Do
devil's
it.
bargain?
Do it.
I can
All
also take the stress, but
No, do it. Take it.
So,
Don't
2
take the
Devil's
stress.
Bargain. You're at 3. You've got 2 Ship Gambit that you could use.
I'm gonna use one of those.
Somebody could
Yeah,
help you out.
I can help you out, I guess.
It'll be
Well,
a
Chris can help me
stress.
out with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, or
Knock
Chris
the
can help
asteroids
you.
out of the way. What do you do? What am I doing?
Josh
Chris could be
Josh
taking
wants to
pot
take a stress.
shots with the.
Yeah, I'll take another stress. I don't have a problem taking a stress.
Okay.
I got
Cool.
I got nothing but stress space. Actually, I got 3 left after this, but that's okay. It's fine.
Do you really only have 3 left? Because
Yeah,
Wow.
that's fine.
you
That's
guys
all
are
right. It's all
way
good.
more stressed than I am.
Well, man, because you're wasted all the time.
He's not very stressed
All
when
right,
he's
so that gives
nice
me-
and tripping.
Yeah,
5
exactly.
dice, right?
I thought that like I was
2
worse off than everyone.
Devil's Bargain. Help. And did you
Gambit.
spend a gambit? Yeah, 5 dice.
Spending a gambit. 5
Do
dice.
it.
All right. It's 2 6s.
Okay.
4,
So
and a
you
1.
were already at great effect. You can't get higher than that. I'm still going to tick an extra box for you on the chart, on the ship progress. So you're doing pretty well. You slide through. There's a kind of a gentle murmuration, kind of like sand passing over the ship's hull as you fly through the asteroid field, because that's basically exactly what's happening. With the occasional ting or something like that, as things get through its shielding and such. You're realizing that
That'll buff out.
that this ship, like
Buff right up.
it's got, like, if you were talking about comparing it to the Star Dancer, like its engines are 4, whereas the Star Dancer is 2. And a couple other things along those lines. Its hull though is only like a 1, because it needs to go fast and it's very light. And then like I would say, like, you haven't really tested the comms or anything like that. It does have weapons, so it's got a pip in there as well. So
Does it have
Gap.
weapons, or does it have weapons like the Mach 5 has weapons?
it has weapons like the Mach 5 has weapons.
Okay.
It's got that mass driver thing that,
Yeah.
it's not really a weapon exactly.
But you could use it to be one.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's no other reason why a racing ship would have something like a mass driver, except for maybe to, clear a road, clear a lane for it out of a, asteroid field. But it's also one of those things that they're not supposed to have. So Gap is on the sensors. It is there. I'm going to click one more on race start. You're 2 clicks away on both.
Oh, man.
You travel very quickly through the asteroid field, and you are almost there.
Taste it, guys. There might also be asteroid dust.
Let's roll into a fortune roll there. However,
We're about to get ambushed.
you are about to actually get ambushed. Very good. Yeah.
Jagger, you're
That-
so pessimistic.
That gentle susurration on the outside of the hull, all of you hear dung, 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 dung on the outside of the hull, as if you've hit something. But Ordwell, you know that nothing rocky, solid, whatever was on the sensors in your path.
Shriek, do we have any I don't know, like flying space monsters that just attach themselves to the outer side of the hull?
No, we don't have any flying space monsters on the outside of the hull. There are 5 space-suited humans that have attached themselves to the hull and are reeling themselves in with magnetic grapples.
Well, that was going to be my second guess.
Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
Jagger's moving to the airlock.
I was
Okay.
going to say Jager's going to like.
I'm
Why
gonna
we have him?
go peel some punks off our skull, our ship.
You want to take some of these chairs?
Are you gonna is Jagger gonna wait in the airlock for them to come to him, or is he going out to them?
No,
Not how this works.
I like it.
Do you want to take some of these chairs? I could, unfasten them.
I got my heavy load out.
Chair at him.
Jagger's got everything he needs. He's got everything he needs for this.
Just saying, if you wanted some range weapons or whatever.
Oh,
we have
what, you don't think
chairs.
I have ranged weapons?
Oh, okay.
Jagger does one of these things where his thigh opens a la RoboCop. And he pulls out his heavy blaster.
Oh, okay. I get it. Okay. Twitch
All right.
backs off.
Stepping into the airlock, it cycles pretty fast, but humanly fast. It's not. They're used to human decompression, etc.
Actually, Jagger doesn't need it to cycle.
Well, the safety
I think the ship
mechanism
needs
to
it to
open
cycle.
it on the outside.
Safety, always with the safety.
I'm sorry, Jagger. Would you like me to do emergency decompression next time?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Just for you.
The outside opens up, and immediately, Jagger, you see 3 spacesuited humans, one of which has landed on the wing of the ship, and 2 others are reeling themselves in. It looked like you passed between a bunch of asteroids nearby. They have big MMU units, or man maneuvering units, on their backpack that got them out here and positioned themselves, and got them up to speed with the ship, sort of thing.
Okay.
But yeah, so they're landing right now. So what are you doing?
Well, I'm not waiting around to introduce myself. So Jagger is going to. How close are we talking? Are we talking within melee range, or if not, he's just going to open fire?
If you were on a place with gravity, I would say you could run up and be within melee range. But there's no gravity here, and you're having to adhere yourself to the hull.
All right, he's opening fire.
Okay. They're going to fire back.
That's going to be, I assume that's still a scrap roll.
That sounds, scrap sounds good. Like if you're just opening the airlock, stepping out, starting to fire.
Yeah. Boom.
They're firing back as they see it
So
open.
this is not melee, so I'm just going to take the 2, and I will. This isn't melee, so I can't use my special ability. I can't use my wrecking crew ability because they're not close enough. And I can't use unstoppable because, again, that's a feat of physical force.
Should have brought the chair.
I should have brought
Wing a chair at him. Although you could pull one of those magnetic grapples off and then use that as like a big mace.
I was just thinking along those
a
lines.
human mace.
Is one of their grapples near enough that I can grab it?
Let's roll a. I'm gonna roll 2 dice for a fortune roll, and if we roll well, then one of the grapples is next to the airlock because that's where they were headed. That's a 6. So yes,
right.
there's one right here.
Okay, so I've still got Jager's got kind of magnetic clamps on his extremities. Mm-hmm. So he's using what would, if he were a human, would be his feet are kind of locked to the hull of the ship. He's got his blaster in one hand, and he just reaches over and grabs the end of this grapple and gives it a yank, and then just starts to swing around, and he can actually pivot at the waist 360 degrees, and he'll just like swing it like he's just flinging it around.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So what is your intent? What is the outcome?
The intent is to take whoever is at the other end of this grapple, swing them around, and hit many of the other people as
hit
possible.
One or two of the others. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the intent. So yeah, we're gonna do that.
I'm thinking risky with standard effect.
Risky with standard effect. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you're like just succeeding. I would say that you're gonna, at the very least, the guy on the tether that you've just pulled off, you're gonna basically fling him out into space, and so he will be out of that person will be out of the fight. Anything more than that, you'll possibly hit somebody else or whatever. So we'll see.
Okay. Let me see. I still have 3 stress left, huh? I could do a push myself for 1 more die.
I was also thinking I could ask Shriek if there's external cameras and then like take a point of stress to assist by giving you a little bit of something extra with the thrusters at the right moment.
Oh, I like that. So I'm going to take the 2 stress, which is going to put me in a little bit of a rocky position, but I'm okay with it.
Okay. You have no idea how hard
it is
to hold back from some
you're
barrel roll.
So I'm pushing myself.
Scrap. 2 dice for scrap. You're pushing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You've got an assist. Do you want to use a gambit? Because if you use a gambit, that gives you potency, which would give you a great effect.
All right. What the heck? Is that all right if I use the gambit?
because of Wrecking Crew.
All right, let's do it. Let's do the gambit.
And you'll gain... I would consider this melee, so give yourself another die for Wrecking Crew as well.
Give myself what?
Another die for Wrecking Crew.
Oh, so does that take me up to a total of 6 die? Or is it 5?
2 dice.
2 dice for
help. 2 dice. You pushed. You're getting assist. You spent the gambit. And 1 for yes, you have 6 dice.
Oh, all right. Wow. this better be impressive.
1 in 36 for a crit here.
I did get a crit. I rolled 2 6s, 2 3s, and 2 2s. 2 6s,
nice.
2 3s, 2 2s.
Nice. Okay. They're firing at you. They fire at you. The guy that the person that you're yanking, you kind of swing and kind of yank them into each other. You end up tangling all of them up with this crit. You end up tangling all of them up in the grapple line of the first person, and the person who had landed didn't quite have their boots on the wing solidly, and you've knocked all 3 of them off the ship, and they're floating off behind the ship. They're trying to get control with the MMUs.
Are they still tethered? I still have. They're tangled in the tether that I have.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can maneuver the entire cluster of them into the mass driver.
I knew it. You know what? With a crit, I'm gonna give that to you.
Okay, and I will calm over to whomever can get to the mass driver and tell them to fire, and then let go of the tether. Doesn't matter which direction, front or back, just fire it.
Can the ship do it itself? The ship that loves him.
I don't know. We haven't established whether Shrike can fire the mass driver on its own.
Do either of you attempt to fire the mass driver?
Did I lose?
Either of us what?
Yeah, you cut out there, David.
Oh, sorry. Do either of you, when Jagger says, "Hey, I'm getting these guys in the mass driver, fire the mass driver," do either of you actually activate the mass driver?
Sure. Why not?
Sure. Yeah, there you go, Twitch. You can be haunted by the nightmares.
The brain slug making me do it.
Roll. Been on here for a little while. Roll a consort roll for me, or even just actually roll 2 dice for a pure luck roll.
Oh, okay.
I want to see how this goes.
Ooh, me rolling a luck roll, huh?
Yeah.
About as well as you'd expect. 2 and a 3.
2 and a 3. Okay. Yeah, you get there. You kind of have seen how Jagger has fired the mass driver before, and you think you put in the right command, and it like the screen flashes red and goes like, but then Jagger outside, you see all of those men disappear. And there is a fine mist spreading out behind the ship right now. Human bodies were not meant to be fired through a mass driver.
That's what I meant about keeping your fluids inside.
Yeah.
That's just bad for you.
However, seeing that, you are then shot at several more times as 2 others come over the other side of the ship, and one is kind of coming down quickly to pop into the airlock.
Oh, yeah, that's probably bad. All right. Well, I will take a shot at one of them, the one that's headed for the airlock. I'll take a shot at him with my blaster.
Okay. All right. And like we don't have initiative or things like that here, so
okay.
Ordwell and Twitch, you both can do things if you want.
You've got external cameras, so you can probably see all this action.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wonder, does this ship have any shoot, what are those things that, like when you're flying through the atmosphere and you want to slow down, those little like
air
things
brakes?
Yeah, like air brakes. Does the ship have any of those that I can just like activate real quick? Just like throw them off like bumpers on a pinball machine. Just
Oh, you mean like if one lands on that area of the ship,
just hit them with it?
Yep. Yeah, but let's say yeah. You know, I mean,
Okay.
it wouldn't be a wing like you're trying to slow down in an atmosphere, and this isn't necessarily. It could fly through atmosphere. but just having the wing and it's a future ship, it's a whatever, you could have those flaps, those air brake things, various places, or something like it, maybe it's a hatch for something or something like that. Yeah. You know the ship well enough that you can open and pop open something fairly rapidly and maybe bat them off the ship.
Oh, is there like a garbage chute or something where we could dump the garbage?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, there we go. We'll do that instead.
Okay.
Hey, let me unload these chairs real quick. I'm gonna hit something with the chair.
Is Ordwell doing anything in particular?
Or at least that could be my assist. I think they
I'll
have to dodge chairs and put themselves out in an open spot where you can shoot.
Strike, are you capable of piloting this if I need to step away for a sec?
I'm allowed to pilot for short bits, yes.
Can you take the controls for a sec? I'm just going to run down to the airlock, make sure nobody gets in. Seems
I would appreciate that, yes.
So I do that. I race on down to the airlock and, I don't know, grab fire extinguisher or something I can use as a weapon. Well, no, actually, I actually have
you guys are all pretty heavily loaded, so.
Yeah,
I'm totally heavy loaded. I got 2 blasters.
You just come down.
Guns blazing.
That's right. I'm ready.
All right, I can take my shot. I'm just going to use a standard scrap for this. Okay. Not 6 and a 5.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I want to inflict harm, but you keep rolling 6s. So, yeah, the guy who's trying to get into the airlock, slides down. It's kind of shooting off to the side behind them as they're trying to get into the airlock, and yeah, and you riddle them with some holes, and if you were on a station or a planet or somewhere with atmosphere, they'd probably be hurt but okay. But they're not. And so they seem much more inclined to stop the air and fluids leaking out of their suit than shooting at you anymore.
Okay. That's a perfectly okay effect. We like that.
Okay. There's another one that's coming down around the curve of the ship. Twitch, you're going to try and open the garbage chute and forcibly eject something out of it. I think you're on mute.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm currently detaching the easily detachable chairs and loading them into the trash bin and basically gonna just eject the trash bin out.
Okay. All right. So how do you want to do this? It sounds like a roll.
Yeah. I guess would it be a rig?
It sounds like a rig to me. That sounds like a rig to me.
That works.
So yeah, we'll do that. I'll push myself. Well, yeah, I'll push myself.
You can
take 2 stress.
3 stress. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I spent my entire downtime last time just getting rid of stress. So. And yeah, I think that's about it.
So you're doing 3?
Yeah. We don't have any more gambits, right?
Are you out of gambits? Or do you have 1 left?
I think we have 1.
We have 1?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't want to use the last
one.
one. Let's not use the last one yet. Yeah, so we'll just go with 3.
Go for it.
All right.
Kind of a long shot. We'll do it. 2, 4, 5.
2, 4, 5. Okay. You open the trash chute and eject the trash out of it. The the person who's coming around, they see the hatch open. They don't know what's coming with it, so they're ready. They actually fire down into the hatch, thinking someone's coming out of it. I'm gonna say you take you suffer a level 1 harm as it's like just ricochets and such flying around through the trash chute as they get biffed in the face and lifted off the ship by a load of compacted trash.
So this brings us to an interesting situation here, because I believe Twitch already has 2 level 1 harms.
Yep.
Twitch does have 2 level harms. There's 2 things that Twitch can do: accept the level 1 harm, which becomes the level 2 harm.
Yeah.
Or resist the harm and
possibly take a trauma
and take stress.
Which, how did you become the punching bag in this? What happened? What did you do?
We skipped the safety checks. That's what happened.
That's what happened. That is what happened. Now, I will say that to resist, like I would totally be fine with you saying you were rigging this trash ejector to eject this compacted trash at just the right time. I would say that you could use rig to resist the damage.
Okay, so it would
Like
be 2 and take the highest.
That would
then.
make sense to me.
Okay, yeah, we'll resist it then.
Cool.
And a 6! Yay!
All right. So
it was a 2 and a 6. So
the harm
2
is
I was
reduced
taking.
away, and you take 0 stress. So you duck down behind, below the chute exit entrance and the controls as this shrapnel shoots around inside the ship, and none of it hitting you.
Whew. That was a stressful roll, because I was like, if I get my 1 or 2, like if I got a 1 and a 2 again, oh, that would have been terrible. I got a 2 and a 6. So, whew.
So there is so that is 4 of them off the ship trying to maneuver back with the MMUs and untangle themselves from grapple lines. No, sorry.
No.
One of them off the ship trying to come back with the MMU or refire a grapple line to get back in. 3 of them are a fine mist behind the ship. And one of them is trying to patch holes, and also, because it's easier to patch holes in atmosphere, is entering the airlock. And Ordwell, you are at the airlock. You see a spacesuited figure entering the airlock.
Okay, cool. So so I have my heavy load. So I'm obviously like preparing to repel
Borders. Yep.
Right. So I've got my spacesuit on, that counts as 2 pips, right?
Yeah.
I've got both my blasters, so that brings me to 4. So I will.
Do you have your fine customized spacesuit on? That's a pilot specific thing. You have your racing spacesuit.
I guess it gives me more flexibility. Yeah. So, for old time's sake, I've probably been sitting in it the whole time, right? Like,
probably, yeah.
Got like my old racing patches and like sponsor patches and what have you, right? So,
that's the one that says Ordwell plus Triv equals heart on it.
So,
Ordwell Triv Racing.
Twitch at a place where he's going to have a problem with explosive decompression.
Is Twitch in?
Well, I mean, he's in the ship.
He's in the garbage chute, right?
Yeah, I don't
The
think
garbage chute.
I am in the ship, though. Yes.
You unless you really mess up on the roll, or perhaps take a devil's bargain sort of thing, do
it. Do it.
You would, Twitch is probably fine.
Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna be like, so I'm gonna like activate the mag boots, like kind of bracing one against the wall, right, and be like, all right, Shriek, if you'd be so kind as to blow the airlock, that'd be great. And so I will like brace myself to try and not fall out of it. So I guess this is gonna be like grab, and then if he manages to hold on, I'm just gonna blast him. So I'm tempted to do like a Ripley and like fire the grappling hook at him while he's standing in the airlock while it's all opening up, but that might be overkill.
Well, you have your blasters out, right?
I do have my blasters
instead of a
out, right?
grappling.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
What do you think that would be?
I think it's probably, well, so I'm staying in place feels like it's probably like it's like a physical thing, so it's probably scrap, which is only one die, but
It sounds
I
like
kind of feel like that it's I'm not hacking, I'm not doing a hacky type thing. I'm really just like blowing the airlock and watching this guy fly out into space. Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. Scrap sounds good. Do you want to push yourself or take a devil's bargain?
I only have 2 stress left, so I can't push myself or bad things are going to happen.
You could.
I could, but I'm not quite there yet.
Do you want the devil's bargain?
What's the devil's bargain?
Well, I can use it. We still have a gambit, right? So I can use the gambit if need be.
Yeah.
Find out what the bargain is.
And then someone could help. Someone could help. That's sure. That is true too. I mean, because
Twitch just walks in.
Jagger's right there
shot.
too.
Jagger's got 1 stress left, so
that's all that's needed, right?
I mean, yeah, technically. You know what? I will burn the stress to assist here.
Okay.
In
all right.
The assumption that seeing that the guy is making it into the airlock, Jagger is going to basically stomp over there and yank him out as necessary. Something along those lines.
Okay.
Or maybe just fire his blast. I don't want to fire my blaster at the ship, so it'll
Probably
be more of a hands-on kind of a thing. So Jagger's going to stomp across the hull of the ship and attempt to assist by flinging, because that's what Ordwell's ultimately trying to do, is get the guy out of the airlock. Yeah, that'll work. All right, I'll burn the stress.
Okay.
Take another die.
Are you sure?
All right.
So
it's done.
Scrap, assist, gambit.
So hold on a second. Do you automatically get a trauma once your stress is full, or if your stress is full and then you take any more stress trauma?
I think I'm going to say the latter right now.
Okay, all right. Okay. It's an important distinction because I'm now officially out of stress.
Right.
Okay.
For tonight, it will be if you try to take more stress or end up taking more stress.
All right. Gotcha.
We'll actually read the rules later.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. So what would Devil's Bargain be?
Let's see.
Twitch loses an arm.
I was gonna say somehow Twitch gets shot.
Yeah. Well, you're blowing the airlock, so all the air is going to rush out, which could throw the guy out. I mean, there's definite chance for collateral damage and unintended harm. You know what? Yeah. So the Devil's Bargain is unintended harm. You will suffer harm because of all of the loose items that are inside of the ship are going to get sucked out and then basically pelt you in the head and the back and etc. as it gets sucked out.
I'll take it.
Okay.
Nothing.
If Luke Skywalker can take it, I can take it.
All right.
That guy's a chump. All right, I got 4 dice. Here we go. 3 5s again.
Okay.
No 6s.
And you were supposed to roll a 6 with one of those dice because I used up my last stress to give it to you.
I tried.
I mean, that was a success. You do it, but there's a consequence. So you're already going to suffer 1 harm from the Devil's Bargain as you are battered. Let's just write it down as battered. And for your level 1. However, the person in the airlock, as they're being blown away and yanked out of the airlock by Jaeger and like tossed out into the void, shoots you in the arm for another harm.
You're taking 2 level 1 harm.
So, yeah, I would say
battered and shot in the arm.
Shot in the arm.
You could resist it.
You could resist it.
Doesn't armor?
Unless you have, if you have armor, I think that also helps.
But you have to have my fine.
You have to have that on the load.
Yeah, I've already used up 2. Well,
So you have your 2 for fine customized spacesuit. What did you have for your load? You had a heavy load?
Blaster. Yeah, I had a heavy load. So actually, I could take the. Just happened to have that armored.
Yeah, I mean
be the last
armored
of your
spacesuit.
load. Yeah,
Well, that would be so you had
underneath your spacesuit.
2 blasters. That's 2 customized spacesuit. That's 4. Another 2 sets of armor. That's another 2. So yeah. We haven't used armor yet, so I just want to make sure it works the way I think it does, which I think is reduces.
I think I used it before in the last one when I got shot. Because when I was in the thingy with trying to cower and everything, remember? In the kitchen.
Yeah, so you can you have, so there's armor, heavy armor, and special armor. So that's basically up to 3 boxes. Your armor gives you 1 box, which is next to armor uses, at least on the Google sheet we have.
Yeah.
You tick that off, and that reduces or avoids the consequence. So you reduce it by 1 to 0, you take no harm, you don't have to roll to resist.
Okay.
There you go. Cool. Good thing you wear your armor underneath your spacesuit.
I learned from Marty McFly.
It's part of the spacesuit. It's like a heavy breastplate, hockey pads, insert. Whatever. Insert, yeah. Okay. We have no you are let's see.
There's one guy floating around trying to grapple.
There's one person who's been trying to grapple back on. There's another one you just threw out. Although he's been shot several times. They've been shot several times, and you haven't seen any of their faces just because of the way their spacesuits are constructed. They're a dark fabric or a dark material, so they were hard to spot.
Sneaky.
It's not like NASA spacesuits where they're nice and bright and white. Or like miner suits where they're, high vis, so they can be seen out in the black. You are all, you are kind of tracking them, and then they kind of zoom behind you as you realize the ship is accelerated.
Shriek? How's it going?
Everything's going fine. You told me to fly the ship.
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
So David?
Uh-huh.
I know we said we were going to look it up next time, but I did look up the rule for trauma, and technically,
are we having a problem?
When you check off your last stress, you take a trauma. You are out of it for the remainder of the adventure. So we're not going to do
that because had we known, then you wouldn't have spent it.
I wouldn't have spent it. It's true. Yeah. So basically, but the rule is
get a 6 anyway.
When you mark your last stress buck, you suffer a level of trauma. When you take a trauma, circle one of your trauma conditions. When you suffer trauma, you're taken out of the action. You're left for dead or otherwise dropped out of the current conflict, only to come back later, shaken and drained with 0 stress. Your vice has been satisfied for the next downtime, etc. So, since we're not going to do that, I mean, I had a way that we could have described it, but since we're not going to do that, just for future reference, mine included
filling up your stress track. Bad.
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 Filling it
Bad.
is
Don't
bad.
do that. Bad.
Don't fill that last box.
Do not.
And that's where the things like Devil's Bargains come in.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are all flying. You're getting really near. I keep forgetting the name of it. You're getting really near Amaranth with its small moon of Gap, and you're coming in for a landing. And I'm gonna tick the ship's progress. The race is almost about to start, but you guys have slide into the berth with a little bit of time to spare.
Ooh, look at that.
It's a shame our scoundrel wasn't here. That
And,
could just say that the wounds on the ship were from those people instead of from flying through an asteroid field.
I mean, well, they kind of are, but so yeah, Triv is here, and you see the four-winged green and white Chandra Jusik. She's here as well, watching the ship come in. I mean, she's a Xeno, so it's hard to read facial expressions or attitude on this particular Xeno. But you slide in, and you dock and start coming out. You see Triv there, kind of giving the ship kind of a little bit of an eye.
A great ship. Amazing. Handles like a dream. Fantastic. Had a little
You
turbulence.
did get
but
a
it
little
felt good.
blood on it.
Yeah, a little scratched up there.
And bloody.
A little more than I expected.
It's cosmetic. It'll buff out. It'll buff out.
Well,
You
yeah,
got a
but
mechanic to help.
that's a lot of buffing.
Well, maybe if somebody had mechanicked it better, it wouldn't have taken that much damage.
You're right. If I'd been on it, we'd have already had it buffed out.
No, I meant,
Yep, I know what you meant. If I'd have been there, we wouldn't have had this problem.
I hate this guy. I hate this guy. He just storms off.
The Xeno said something in some weird and odd chirps, and Triv kind of nods, is like, yeah. You did get her here, and she looks good, like not broken. And you got her here on time, so we're gonna get her refueled, turned around. Probably don't have time to buff out all the scratches, but that's all right. It's gonna get scratched up in this Grand Prix anyway. So, thanks everyone. I mean, you guys did a great job. So,
Thank you.
After this thing is over, we gotta go out for drinks, and you gotta tell me how you got her here.
Oh, yes.
I'm buying. So,
Twitch, you want to come with us? Twitch, come on, man.
Twitch has already walked away.
Twitch. I'll remind you that when you spend your downtime with me, any ally can up or lower their dice by +2. So
that sounds like drinks
Don't you
after
wanna
the
drink
Grand
with,
Prix. After the Brutality Spire Grand Prix.
With you, yes. With Triv, never.
So, do we just take an Uber back to the Star Dancer, or
That's downtime stuff.
That's downtime. I love that. Like if there was a system of like fate points or inspiration or bennies or whatever, yeah, I mean, there were a couple of times where I'd have given you guys that.
Oh man.
All right. Let's see. It is 10:30 Eastern our time. Eastern our time. That makes a whole lot of sense. So we've decided, for those of you who are listening / watching out there, we decided to have more gameplay and less like choosing the job and the downtime stuff. We're going to handle that on between sessions, and I will or we'll all give like a recap of what happened in downtime at the beginning of next session. So thanks everyone for joining. And going into the spiel again. Ken, do you want to give the spiel this time, since you know the spiel as well?
I don't have it in front of me.
I don't either. That's why I asked you. So fill in where I miss things. So thank you again for listening, watching the Layer of Secrets. Right now we're on Twitch, Layer of Secrets on Twitch. We're on Twitter at Layer of Secrets. You can email us, podcast@layerofsecrets.com. We have layerofsecrets.com as the website. You can subscribe to the podcast there. You can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts and a few others, but I don't know which others right now. But the RSS feed and all those links are at layerofsecrets.com. So we love feedback. Thank you all for who joined us today and commented throughout the session. Really appreciate it. Come on back next week. Oh, we lost Ken. Oh, no.
And if you're going to hump your robots, do it safely.
Yeah. And thank you for watching and listening.